Now we got on the same color jeans too. I ain't realize. I didn't realize. Twin in
That's
there.
more better.
Hey everyone, welcome to another great edition of Growing Up Fatherless, where we discuss how we navigated through the experience of being fatherless. Today, guys, I'm excited because I'm joined with my special guest, who also happens to be my little brother, Malik Miller.
Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you.
How you doing?
I'm doing good. I'm excited to be here. It's an honor to be here. You're doing something special.
I appreciate that.
I stand for everything that you're doing and going. So I'm just happy to be here.
Thank you. I appreciate that. You've always been like very supportive. You've told me when I was right. You also tell me when I'm wrong.
Got to.
And that's what I love about you. But you do it in a very loving way, and you do it in a way in which to teach me instead of belittling me. And that's what I admire about you. I've had the privilege of watching you grow up over the years, and you've grown up in different environments. I feel like that's fair to say. 10 years ago, I know that playing basketball had became a very prominent thing in your life at the time. And at the same time, your dad was in and out of the picture when you began that journey.
Yeah.
Obviously here on the Fatherless podcast, we talk about those that grew up with it, those who grew up without it, and those who lost it along the way. What category would you say you fall in?
I will say I'm in between. I feel like, my father tried to do what was right at the beginning, and then later down the line, he made some decisions that, I don't agree with, that I feel like he made for his personal reasons, and that's his decision. But, I can't judge him, only God can judge him. So I don't hold nothing against him. It's always going to be love. I can't be mad. He made me, without him as the me. So I just got to understand that everything happened for a reason, and God made that happen. So I got to accept that and find a way to deal with it.
Have you ever lived with your dad?
I lived with him when I was about, I want to say 7 to like 10 years old, or 6 to 10 years old, something in that ballpark.
Okay. Living with your dad, how did that impact you?
I mean, it's good to wake up and you see your dad in the next room. I feel like it was good, at certain points, and I feel like it also had its downs at certain points, But that's life, Everything comes with ups and downs. So
I apologize.
I just learned how to balance them, So I would say overall, though, I didn't take it for granted. It was privilege, But sometimes, just cause a dad is there doesn't mean that everything is going, perfectly fine.
With that being said, I noticed that you said there were ups and downs.
Yeah.
What were some of the downs or the challenges that you faced with your dad?
I would say it's a lot of challenges, but one of them, the main ones was, I would say the lack of physical support, showing up, being there, cheering, coming to the games. I think that was my biggest thing. I always thought about, like, dang, like I see a lot of other kids, fathers in the crowds, and cheering them on and giving them feedback after the game. And, I never saw mine, and it bothered me at the beginning, when I was younger, but as I got older, I just had to deal with it. And that's what it was.
Is it because, and this is my brother, y'all, so I know a lot, but it's his story to tell. And obviously, I know your dad. Like, he was a stepfather to me.
Yeah.
So I don't want to negate that and make it seem as though like it's a beef or it's an issue.
Yeah, no.
Because I understand in life we do go through those like pivotal moments and challenges. With your dad, though, he left 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Now, that was at a very prominent time in your life. Was you mad about that? I mean, him just getting up like, because obviously if you've had it,
I mean, it was
up until for your entire life up until that point, I just want to know, like, how did you go through that with having my dad here today and then tomorrow
gone.
he's gone? Like, how did you go through that? And you were in high school, you playing basketball.
This is a key point in my life.
How did it make you feel?
I always think about like how other people portray feelings on me and how they think I felt about it and etc. I always felt like, you know, that's the decision he made, you know, and that's what it is. You know, I felt like at the end of the day, I was gonna be Malik Miller regardless, whether he stayed or left. So for me, I always looked at that as like, dang, like now I gotta go harder. Now I gotta really make it. Now I got my mother depending on me, got my sister depending on me, got my family depending on me. So, you know, sometimes when things happen and they throw you off track, you gotta remain focused. You gotta know the end goal. So I always just knew the end goal and I never let anything or anybody ever distract me from it. And I carried that to me to this day. And that's just how I am. And that's just it.
When he left, did you feel like he abandoned you?
Abandoned. I wouldn't say abandoned. I would say he made a selfish decision, you know. I feel like sometimes in life you gotta be more selfless, you know. It's not about you or what you want, you know. But then again, that's what comes with decisions that are made of people who are going through their own issues, you know. So some issues are made based on the history of their past and what they've been through and how they see life, you know. But how I'm looking at it is like, as a dad now, I would never do that. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like each person or each man just have their own different views of saying life.
That's a very valid point. However, do we give people, we're talking about dads here, y'all, do we give fathers a pass for just getting up and leaving?
No. I feel like everybody should be held accountable for their actions. But I mean, you gotta hold a person accountable until they can see what they did wrong. I can't force you to take accountability. I can't force you to see what you did wrong. You have to open your eyes and see that. And that's a part of growth. That's a part of self-awareness, a part of maturing and understanding like, dang, maybe I could have did that different, or maybe I could have handled that different. But I mean, until a person sees that, all that I can do is just kick back and let them go through their process.
Now that you are where you are in your career and you've been very successful, how has that shaped the relationship where you are today with your dad?
I mean, it's still the same. You know, I still love him regardless. You know, I wouldn't be where I'm at today without him. So no matter what, the feelings I have, no matter what he did, the decisions he made, at the end of the day, is always love and respect and gratefulness and everything above. But, you know, I feel like it's good. You know, I feel like I'm in a point in my life where I'm just worried about my career and my daughter and my family. You know, and I'm not letting anybody to distract me or take my mind off of that.
You becoming a father, has that bettered the relationship with your own father? Have you guys grown closer or further apart?
I feel like it's still there. You know, I feel like me becoming a father made me really dissect his decision a little more, actually, you know, because I'm looking at it through a dad lens now, because now I'm in the same shoes. So now I can really not judge him, but now I can see his perspective on why he did what he did or why he didn't do what he did. And me being a father, that's unacceptable to me, you know. And that's coming from a person who has to leave for 10 months to go play overseas and everything, you know. But it's for like it's for me to take care of her. You know what I'm saying?
I understand.
I'm not leaving just to leave, or I'm not leaving because things are going through their own little situation and their own rough patch. I'm leaving so I can make my family better and make sure she has a good life, a better life that I had, you know?
I understand. That's what you're doing to make sure that your daughter is going to be okay. I would assume it wasn't that way for your dad when he decided to walk away to do what he felt was best for him in the moment.
No, I didn't feel like it, you know? I felt like my life didn't change a bit. And if you make a decision that big and that life-changing, I feel like it should be some bigger outcomes of that decision, you know? But I feel like nothing changed, you know? I feel like everything was still the same.
What's the greatest lesson? I know you said that you wouldn't be who and where you are today without your dad. What's the greatest lesson that your dad has taught you?
That's a good question. I think live with no regrets, you know. I think that's something that he probably doesn't see. I don't know if he regrets it or not, but as I go through life, I live with no regrets. You know, every decision I do, I make sure that it's the right one, and I make sure I put God and trust and faith and everything into it, and just go from there. You know, and I also have someone who stepped in, you know, and helped me a lot as I was going through my own process. And you know, I can never take what God and the people He put in my life for granted.
I want to ask you a question, and this might be a bit personal, but
we here. Let's do
it. It's heavy on my heart because like you're my brother, and you're the only brother that I know.
Yeah.
And
stay woke. Stay woke. Stay woke. Stay woke.
So with that being said, I know at times that we all want people to show up for us and the way that we want them to show up.
Yeah.
Do you feel like in some ways I've been that to you because I'm all about growth and evolving to be a better me? And I know like sports is your thing, entertainment in a different sector has been my thing. Though we are alike, we have our differences. But I've always wanted to ask you, like, you know, have I done enough? Because I know your dad did leave at a certain point. Have I been there enough? Is there anything more that I can do? Because when we talk about accountability, you'll never have the answer to a question that you don't ask.
I'm gonna be honest, bro. I feel like you could have, you know. I feel like you could have came to more games. I feel like you could have been there more.
I could have.
But then again, I'm a person of understanding and reasons. I know you're going through your own thing. I know you're going through
your own excuse. There's no excuse.
There's no excuse.
And I appreciate you.
But I'm also I like to look at things through both lenses. You know, my lens is, yeah, you could have showed up. Big brother could have been there. I would love to have my big brother at the games, you know. But then the other lens is you trying to figure out your music career. You doing your podcast. You doing this. You trying to figure out what you got going on in life. And it may be so to the point that you forget certain things that like, dang, I could have did this, or because you're so stuck in your own world and what you're going through, you get blinded by that. And that's okay too. But you also got to understand that things can be done if you make a way.
I like that you just said that you can be stuck in your own world. I needed to hear that because, you know, for a long time, I would be in my own way. I would have my own thoughts. And
for sure.
I had to really get to a place in life where no matter what I was going through, I would look sometimes and be like, it's not always about you. The world doesn't revolve around just one person. So sometimes when you're going through your shit, as we like to say.
We can cuss on here?
I'm
asking. I think it
we can say a little. We can say a little if you want to. But I'd always, you know, I knew at times that I could have did more, and I want to apologize for not giving you my best at times because I was going through my own shit, and that's not fair to anybody. Like, I'm not gonna make no excuse. All I can do right now is do better moving forward. So I just want to let you know that I'm in your corner and I love you and I support you. And I want to ask you, growing up in a 2-parent household, does it make a difference? Because you grew up with that for so many years. I didn't have that. What I had was like your dad was there in a lot of ways. And I'm very open and honest when I say that I felt like your dad and I didn't always connect in a father-son way. I think it's fair to say that he was there, but he wasn't always active. And I don't mean that like he was a bad person.
I mean, you could,
but that's my experience.
Yeah.
I didn't have that. Like, I didn't have my dad, so I don't know what it's like to be in a home with both of my parents together. You had that. So do you believe that every child needs that?
I feel like it's nice to say, you know, oh, I have my dad and my mom in here. Oh, everything's good. But I put in, this is how I look at it. If you go to the gym, right,
Mm-hmm.
and you go in there and does nothing,
Mm-hmm.
you don't do nothing. You just go to the gym.
Mm-hmm.
What does that mean? You didn't go in there and do nothing. You didn't work out. You didn't lose weight. You didn't gain weight. You didn't burn no calories. You just there. You know, you just there for effort to show up.
So
and
you
not
didn't
do
put
nothing.
the work in.
So I mean, so going into a 2-parent household, it's like, okay, I'm here, but what's going on? You know what I'm saying? I seen my mother go through a lot of stuff, dog. I see her go through a lot of stuff to make sure that I had a good life, you know. And I don't agree with some of everything she did either, but she tried and she was there and she made effort. Same thing with my dad. I feel like the effort and everything just wasn't there. And this is me just per honesty. Like, I don't even speak about this a lot, but I'm gonna do it for the podcast. I'm gonna be honest. I feel like the effort wasn't there, though. I feel like it's more so talk than actions, you know? So it's
I
like
understand.
it's easy to say, oh yeah, I'm here. But you ain't really showing it or active. You know, everybody can just be in the house and say, oh yeah, we 2-parent household. What are you doing? Are you going to the branches conferences? Are you going to the school to pick your kids up? Are you going to the games? You know, are you doing the little things that separates an okay dad from a good dad? You know, like everybody can do the bare minimum. Everybody can sit in the house and be like, oh yeah, we 2-parent household. That don't really account for nothing in my book.
You know, I never knew you felt that way.
Yeah.
Because from the outside looking in, I always looked at it like your dad was there. He raised you in a lot of ways. You lived with him at a certain point and place in time in your life. So I didn't understand, you know, how a person could feel that way. But now hearing what you're saying, it's like, it makes a lot of sense.
I mean, he also did some good, bro, but it's like, it's just more, you know, like I'm speaking as me being a dad. It's just more. I can't explain it, but when you a dad, it's more. Nothing is enough. Nothing is enough.
You are a very like straightforward and forgiving person. And the one thing that I've always noticed about you is you always are just able to pick up the pieces and just keep going. Whereas that's been at times a struggle for me. You know, like we both seen a lot of shit
told you
that we've been through together. Yeah. I seen you go through your stuff and you would just get up and you would keep going. And when I was going through my issues with my dad, you would always say, but Antoine, let it go and move on. And it was easier said than done, obviously. May I ask, why did you feel it was important for me to get up and to keep going? Because you saying what I went through, you saying that I would go to New York on a regular basis.
I went with you.
Yeah.
I went with
you. We took a few trips down.
Yeah.
And you would see me interact with people who I assumed loved me. And I had to come to the realization that this isn't family, these are just relatives. And I got burned bad. Yeah. Like, it's no secret. I was burned pretty bad by these relatives. But I remember you kept saying to me, first you was in shock because of who did it and why they did it.
Surprisingly too. I was very surprised. I didn't see that coming.
I didn't see it coming either because I didn't speak my truth. I spoke the truth. No, listen, if we're going to be real, if we're going to sit here and talk about
put it on the table.
The fatherless experience, at the end of the day, it's a difference between it being your truth versus it being the truth. And the one thing that you know about me is if ever I say anything about anything and or anyone, I got facts to back it up.
Yeah.
Because I do this shit on a regular basis. In terms of like, you know, journalism, podcasting, I would never come to anybody without a fact to back it up. But anyways, I don't really want to get too deep into that because it's about you right now.
Let's go back. Let's really back.
Because that's a lot to navigate through. But you was really in my corner when that happened. And I remember that you just kept saying, get up, Antoine, you got to keep going, man. Like, it happened, but you got to keep going. Why did you tell me that? Because I was really in a place, man, where I didn't even know how to get up.
Because, bro, I didn't read stories about people being homeless and they work hours in his job and they bust their tail, they go through school, and my thing is life is gonna knock you down,
Okay.
bro. Life don't care about you gotta go to work, and life don't care that you had kids at 16, and life don't care that you don't got a dad, bro. At the end of the day, you gotta live your life. You can't let everything that life threw at you hold you back. And I feel like that's your biggest problem. You can't let little things, bro. You got so much to. Okay, so what? They not there. I'm gonna focus on my podcast. I'm gonna do something else. I'm gonna make sure that everybody that's treating me a certain way, or watch when I become that.
I wasn't seeing it that way at the time because I was moving, and I'll be honest. Like sometimes I'm very emotional at times, and I'm very honest about that. Like I wear my emotions on my sleeve. So as it was happening, I think for me it was more so like I gave so much love. I had so much love that I was giving to these people. I was hurt. I was mad. Like I'm gonna be honest. First and foremost, I was mad, man, because you seen how I would go to New York. You seen how I was like, that's my family, and you couldn't even say nothing about certain people, without me getting offended, saying, no, that's my family. I'm a ride for them, because I assumed they would do the same for me. And not only that, a certain person that I was like super close with, you know who I'm talking about. I mean, and I felt like we were like brothers at the time. So when everything had exploded, I was hurt, but I would show it as anger, because I didn't want people to see that I was hurt. And you would see the shit that I would post. Listen, when I tell y'all, man,
text me, bro. Take it down.
Listen,
delete it.
He would like my brother, man. My brother would call and be like, "You gotta take it down, Antoine. You can't do this, man. You can't be." And I would be like, "Nah, I just want them. Like, I want. I was hurt." So you heard the saying that hurt people hurt people. I was in that place for a long time. Now I'm in a place where healed people heal people.
Now you want two wrongs don't make it right.
I understand it now.
That's where you at.
I understand. Because we're coming to the end of the close of the segment. Your dad, what advice would you give to your own dad right now?
That's a good one. What'd I say?
Say what's on your heart.
Sacrifices are part of the dad job. It's a lot of things I want to do right now, but I'm not doing that because I got Milani. Or it's a lot of things that I might think I want to do, or I've really, really been dreaming about doing this, but no, she got stuff she need. She got stuff I want to do for her. She got a future I want to plan for her. I can't worry about me no more. It's not about me. And I feel like when you have a kid, it's not about you. And once people still think it's about them, and they still want to do certain stuff they want to do, and not really throw themselves into the kids, it's gonna be different, And I think that, and it starts from how people was raised. They self. It's a trickle down effect, dog.
Generational.
I feel like
curse.
In life, it's a generational curse. In life, everybody make decisions based on how they were treated, or they were raised, or what they've been through. And they so busy. Oh, that's all they know. All the decisions my dad made is all the decisions he knew, because that's how he was raised. That's how he was taught.
We got to get to a place.
You have to grow.
And time in life when you say you want to grow, you got to unlearn
that's
things.
Another lesson, growth.
That you have to unlearn things that you learned that have hindered you. So many people, such as yourself and me, have been on this on the road, the same trajectory. What do you say to the fathers out here who disown, abandon, and are not active or present in their children's lives? What would you say to them right now?
What I would say to them. So pretty much deadbeat fathers. Deadbeat fathers. What would I say to a deadbeat father? I'm gonna say you don't deserve your kid, because I feel like, I would say you don't deserve your kid. God bless you with a beautiful human, and you goes and do everything in your power to not love that kid, to not care for that kid, to not cherish that kid. Some people can't even have kids, and God bless you with one, and you turn your back on it. I feel like sometimes parents are not meant to be parents, and that's what I would say to a deadbeat. You're just not meant to be a parent, and that's okay. And I just hope that child comes into and grows into a home that's full of two beautiful parents,
It's safe to say that every child deserves a parent. Not every parent deserves a child.
Yeah.
I want to say thanks for coming on. I know you're a busy man.
Nah, I ain't that busy.
You got a lot of stuff going
I
on.
ain't as busy as you. I ain't as busy as you.
The shade is real. But
nah, I'm just saying I ain't as busy as you.
The shade is real. But no, seriously, thank you. You know, like I know I'm your older brother, but you've got it and inspired me. Like honestly, when I see you and I see you living your life and pursuing your goals, I always be like, man, it gives me hope. I feel like I still have a chance.
It's always a chance.
Throughout my lifetime, I've never really had anybody to look up to. And like seeing you, I go, wow, you know, like he really inspires me. And this man that inspires me is my brother. I just want to say, I sincerely appreciate that. And thank
course,
you.
Bro. Same. I feel the same. I feel the same.
If you can do anything in life, I would just say continue to be who you are. Use your platform and inspire people. Because we know what it's like to be fatherless. Now it's time for us to understand and know what it's like to have a present father. And on that note,
that's a great way to break it. That's a great close right there. He closed it right.
All right, we out, y'all. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it.